exciting webinar on Instagram marketing. As you all probably know, I'm Hitesh from Social Samosa. We are an online media publication that reports marketing and advertising on social media. And we are hosting this webinar in association with um, ADMC. ADMC is a leading digital marketing institute, and I'm just waiting for more attendees to join in. I hope you guys can hear me. If you can't, you can just tell us in comments. Um, yeah, hi Atisha. Hi Arya. Thanks, Prerna. So, to give you a background, I mean, this is a 2 hours webinar, and we have two speakers with us. And I'll quickly introduce both of them. So we have with us Paridhi Bhatia. She is the management supervisor at Ogilvy, and she leads the content cell there. And apart from that, Paridhi also has been working very closely with some of the leading brands such as Tata Sky, Parle G, and she has over 10 plus years of experience only in the digital realm. And apart from that, she also works on consulting brands and businesses. Apart from that, the second speaker we have on board today is Prerna Makaria. She's uh, like one of the leading jewelry influencers, and she has over 18 years of experience in gems and jewelry, and she has managed to grow her profile as a jewelry influencer on Instagram. So both the speakers today have immense amount of experience when it comes to Instagram marketing, how to use the platform to the best of its potential, and how to make the most of Instagram for your brand or business. Um, I think I'll pass it on to both Paridhi and Prerna. Are you guys around? Can I promote you as a panelist now? If you are, then probably I'll just identify. Yeah, yeah. So Prerna is here. Hi, Prerna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Prerna. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
You're having a great Saturday.
I'm unable to hear you. I think the
I'm
voice
saying
is
hope
breaking a bit.
I hope you're having a great Saturday. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, I can.
I think we'll wait for Paridhi to join in, and then probably I'll take your lead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Your voice is breaking. I think maybe my internet is a bit unstable. So I'm gonna try again. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Paridhi, can you?
Bharati has also just joined. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Bharati is also right here, and
Yeah.
she's going to begin the session where she's going to be um, introducing the world of Instagram to everybody and then taking things further. So let's just wait for a couple of moments till she um, gets on board. I think she's just having some technical challenges with joining in.
Sure. Guys, in the meantime, can you tell us you're all active on Instagram, right? If you can just say yes in chat, we would have a better idea. Or
My camera's not coming on.
can you try logging in, logging out, Paridhi?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Just give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
Maybe it would be great also to know everybody's Instagram handles. So it's it'll be a great way of interaction, and people will know about each other if they can just briefly in one line introduce themselves, their name, which city they are from, and what they do, and your Instagram handle. So I think this will give an opportunity for everyone to know each other, and for us also to understand where are you from and what you do.
Right, right. So guys, like those of you who are active at this point, you can just share like a line of intro and probably a link to your Instagram handle. What is like, what do you use Instagram for? Is it for personal use? Is it for business? And so on. Yeah, I think people will be typing by now. So Prerna, how long have you been on Instagram? How's your journey been?
Well, I got introduced to the world of social media almost 5 years ago. I had my Facebook page for the longest, for it's been almost 10, 12 years now. But Instagram, I started about 6 years ago. And I've been jewelry influencing for the last 5 years. So it's very funny that, being a jewelry influencer, I was absolutely anti social media before I entered this world. So I have a damn funny story when it comes to jewelry and becoming a jewelry influencer. And the moment I joined Instagram, after that, there was no looking back. I think that's become my world. I'm probably almost 6 to 7 hours a day on Instagram, or, doing some stuff related to social and digital media.
Got it, got it. And like you said, you spend about 6 to 7 hours on Instagram every day. That's crazy. Yeah, even I end up spending.
Between Instagram, Facebook, and digital media. Yeah. I mean, what happens is our work is essentially a lot on the phone. So,
Right.
invariably between the laptop or any form of digital and social media, we'll end up spending that much time.
Got it. And
Wow. So it's good to see a lot of people messaging here.
yeah, yeah. So they're sharing.
Sorry, you were asking something.
No, no. I was just. I mean, I was also referring to this as well. Only, I mean, there are a lot of people who are putting in their details, where they are from and what they're doing.
Yeah. Nice. So there are people from there's Priyanshi who's a YouTuber. Then we have Shrishti from Delhi. Okay. Atisha has Mayank has a design agency. Wow. So there are a lot of people from diversified backgrounds. Interesting to know.
Yeah, and I think all of them are pretty active on Instagram at this point. Yeah, and for sharing links. So
That's fantastic.
I think the
Guys,
person.
meanwhile, if you all want to, I mean, you all are all typing about yourself. If you want to also check our handles, you can see our handles over here. I'm just typing them out. I'm typing Paradis as ADMC. So, if by the time Paradis is joining, if you want to check that out, you all can always check it out. And I will also I'm just going to put the links for you all actually. So I think that may just get easier for everybody. Yeah. So I will put this. I'll put Paradis also, so everyone can look it up. Just give me a moment. So, and I'll put up ADMC also. So, I mean, everybody can take a look at all the Instagram handles until then.
While Paridhi joins in, Prerna, can you quickly tell us and the audiences also what is one of your biggest learnings as a influencer on Instagram? What is it that you think that this is one thing that you should pass on to anyone and everyone who wants to do good or do well on Instagram?
My learning as an influencer, you mean? Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
my learning as an influencer, you asked, right? Influencing jewelry. At that point of time, the Indian jewelry industry was not really ready for it because there were a lot of influencers in the luxury space, in fashion, but nobody doing it in jewelry, in the jewelry space. So, as much as I became the first mover to introduce that, I equally had so many challenges because nobody was in that space at all. So, it took me almost a year or a year and a half for people in the industry to make them understand what influencing is all about. So, it was quite challenging in, as a career option in the middle to switch over between designing and manufacturing to becoming an influencer. So I think patience was one of the biggest key as a learning at that point in time.
Okay. I think Paridhi is also here. Hi Paridhi, how are you? Uh, I think you.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Sorry?
So sorry.
Sure. So I think I'll leave it to you guys to start the session. I hope you have a good one. Let me know we are around. I mean, let me know if you guys need any from around.
Okay, great. So have we introduced both of us, Prerna?
Yeah, like I did. Like I did a brief introduction. Probably you guys can introduce yourself better. I mean, like a detailed profile of yours. I just told people where you are coming from and what is it that you can do.
Okay, great. Um, Great. So we're so excited today. We just wanted to come and speak through how it is that we've fallen in love with Instagram. One, from an influencer perspective, that's Prerna. She is an influencer in a very, very niche segment. I know these days in the lockdown, there's become a norm. All of us want to make content and want to be influencers. I want to be one too. I love cooking, and I'm trying to be one too, and I'm learning from her footsteps. The other is we want to do best by our brands. So that is something I think most of us are here to understand and build on that and try and understand what the right science is. Well, there is none. And we're all just trying to learn through whatever it is that we're doing. So, what we're going to do today is first, I'll just start with a little introduction from both of us. Prerna, you just want to, I think you already explained where you come from. So, I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Paridhi. I started my career while I was writing blogs. And believe it or not, I love eating in restaurants. And that's how I started my career in digital. And I said, it is so cool to kind of reach out to people in real time. Why not really do something about it? And this was exactly when Instagram actually launched in 2010, right? That's how it all began. It began with me writing blogs. It then began with me making digital content. It then began with me traveling the world and covering concerts of electronic dance music. And that's how I kind of learned to love this world of digital. And now sharing my deck. I hope my screen is sharing. If any one of you can just keep responding to, if you all can see it, that's great.
That can be seen.
Great. So this is where this is where I kind of began, right? I fell in love with content. If you see me in the night with my phone, I am still consuming content. You see me first thing in the morning in the pot, I'm still consuming content. You ask me 10 different ways in which you want to sell an idea on Instagram, I will tell you 10 different ways to cut it and do something differently, right? That is the kind of world I was born and brought up in, and I kind of learned to just love it, right? What we're going to do today is basically take you through what is Instagram, why it exists, and maybe some basic points, because there is a mix of crowd that is here today. Some really want to understand what the craze behind this medium actually is. Everybody talks about gramming and Instagram, but why is it actually there and what do people get out of it, right? That's one. Second, we will go through what are the kind of important features of Instagram, what is it actually doing for brands, what kind of content exists out there, right? And I'll quickly teach you hacks and tricks on how to kind of just spend time on Instagram every day without stressing. I mean, content looks great and it doesn't mean you have to spend hours behind really creating it. It's just about having an idea in the mind and just putting pen to paper, right? This is what we'll cover today, right? A hawk-eye view on what this medium is going to do in the next 10 years and the kind of disruption it's going to bring, right? So we're going to do that. And it's as simple as what you love, what your brands need to do, why you need to be there. By the time you get out of today's webinar, you should be able to go and influence anybody to love Instagram. That's our goal here today, right? At any point in time you have questions, please leave it in the Q&A segment and we'll pick it up after an hour. And then we will definitely do a 15-minute Q&A session right at the end as well, right? You've already met Prerna, but I made a beautiful slide, so I'm just going to let it be there for 20 seconds for her, right? She is a pioneer of a niche segment, right? It's very easy to see influencers make content and put content out there. But one thing to remember is they spend hours and a lot of time actually thinking about what is relevant, what the kind of moments to pick up, how to kind of merge the product with the content they're actually putting out, and then finally actually putting it out there and gain all of their followers that they have, and then finally collaborate with brands, right? So we will talk about how does it they actually collaborate with brands, what are the kind of positives that actually come out of it, and we'll get there. We'll get through the whole process, starting with why Instagram actually exists, right? So consumers are there, right? And then there are human beings like us who don't understand why and what Instagram is actually there for, right? Instagram started about 10 years ago. And since then, all people have done is posted pictures. Now, it is a very, very visual medium, right? Why is it that we want to be present there is very, very important to understand, right? Are we only there to kind of sell products? Are we only there to kind of convert consumers, which is the end goal? Yes. But what is more important to understand is when you have a presence or you have a medium to reach people in real time, it is very, very important to drive a top of mind awareness, right? And that is what Instagram allows you to do, right? Now, couple of things, right? You have an Instagram page, you have a bio, and you have a medium that allows you to be as visual as possible, right? So A, you have to experiment. B, you can play with keywords and hashtags, hence you're discoverable by anyone and everyone, right? C, if you have a picture that kind of tells a story, you put it up. Be it a consumer or not, your brand is automatically humanized to the people you are speaking to, right? That is why Instagram exists. It humanizes your brands visually, right? Now, there was a study that was done in the US a few years ago that says people actually don't buy a product. They actually fall into what defines your product or what is the personality of your product. That is what they actually fall in love with, right? Now, how do you build this personality? How do you bring it alive with not only one visuals, but 10 visuals? We spend a lot of time thinking in a day. It's like, what do we do on Instagram? Why do we do it? Why do we put this content out? Does it really speak my brand speak? Is it really tying back to what my brand stands for, right? We don't really have the perfect answers to these questions. What we'll do, and as we go further, is understand what are the 4-5 things that are important when you're present on Instagram, right? A, yes, it's important to have hashtags. Why? Because it makes you cool. It makes you discoverable, right? Hence the what of Instagram, that is what it does for you. It makes you discoverable, and amongst the audience that is on Instagram, every day, at least 10 new buyers discover you, right? So if you are posting consistent content, Instagram's what is to allow you to get discovered by a new consumer, okay? That is one. Hence you start building top of mind, right? Second, 90% of our brain reacts to visuals, right? We're walking on the road, we see a beautiful painting and we want to kind of take a moment to look at it, we're going to look at it. But if you see an ad that only has text on it, you're probably not going to stop to see what it is saying, right? Visuals play an important role because it excites you, right? There is an adrenaline rush. It's simple Freudian psychology. Anybody who knows psychology, I love Freud. So I really understand where he came from and where he comes from, right? You have to excite them, right? That is what Instagram does for you, right? A, it is making you discoverable. B, it is giving you a medium where you can be visual. If people understand visuals, all you have to do is use its tools and get there, right? And why Instagram is because it is the simplest medium to reach people in real time, right? New people are joining. It is very, very easy discovery. 3, it is visual. If 90% of a human being's brain responds to visual cues, and law of averages say 2 out of 10 people are going to stand up and take notice, your law of averages changes on this medium, right? It's so amazing to be alive in this time. It's not funny, right? So this is the best time to have a good idea, right? What is a good idea? We'll come to it. There's no good and bad. There's always a different way of doing things. That's what I say, right? Arnab was arrested. It became into meme. That's content, right? There is a child who's at home, who's cooking with his mother. That's content, right? There is a brand that is not able to deliver its commodities to all of the people that are actually ordering the product. That is also content, right? You are human. As much as you're a brand, you are human. So if you have an idea, and when I say idea, it could just be a thought. It doesn't have to have a tagline, or it doesn't have to have a proposition. If it's there, you execute it. Because there'll be a lot of times when you're actually thinking about it, and even before you actually put it down to execution, somebody else has done it. It's as simple as the memes that you see on Hotstar, right? Some of us might have actually sat on our sofas while watching a show and thought about it, but we haven't really actually gone and executed that meme. And then you actually see a brand who has actually executed it. So that's how fast a time we are right now in, and we're living it, right? So we had to kind of harness everything that this medium is giving us right now and execute in real time, right? Now, change, evolution, and content, right? I live by these words. Why? Because we're changing very fast. Mindsets are changing very fast, right? The 3 key trends right now, if I was supposed to pick on, even between yesterday and today, it's kindness, it's gratitude, it's mental health, right? It's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's so open about it, right? That's change, right? We're evolving as human beings. We're not bringing people down. We're not talking crass. We're trying to uplift everybody who's around us, who we're working with, right? Brands are uplifting each other. If you've seen the latest, I won't say PR stunt, but I don't have a better word for it. But the press release that Burger King put out is go out, eat at McDonald's, eat at other places, right? We're evolving, we're helping each other. That's the kind of trend, that's the kind of movement that's going out. And then there's content, right? So there is a change that's happening. There is a thinking that's evolving. And what you can do out of it is make content out of it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to tell 10 stories. If it's there, you talk about it, and that's content. Now, whether you do it in a text format, or whether you do it in a image format, or whether you do it in a video format, we'll come to that. But the point is, the more observant you are, and the more you absorb the things that are happening around you, and you start talking about it, all you have to do is put it on your gram, right? Twitter, as an opinion, as a medium, is very opinionated, right? People tweet about what they think is true, or what they think is not okay, or what they stand by, or what they don't, right? Instagram is one notch up ahead because it lets you do that visually, right? You have an opinion, you're not okay with something, you record yourself, you put it up on IGTV, or you put it up on Reels, and that's how a lot of opinions get out, right? It's same for brands. Brands humanize themselves by saying what is okay or what is not okay, what you stand by, or you create content that kind of engages your audience. You run contests, you run polls, you understand your audience better. Yes, there was a time when we did researches to understand what a consumer is actually thinking. Yes, and that's deeper research. But when you're making real-time content and you want to understand what people really, really think today, put up a poll, understand, and you make a content piece out of it. It's as simple as 5 kinds of foods you're eating. Oh, great. These are the 5 kinds of food that there are. And I'm going to kind of whip up recipes to mix these 5 ingredients and create more recipes. And that's what your audience is going to consume, right? So the what and how is A, real time, B, you're discoverable, see, you adapt to that change and you live in that change and you start talking about it, and that's your content, right? And that's what Instagram allows you to do. Correct. Now, it is very, very imperative, and it's very, very important for us to understand that we're living in a world where there's a pandemic and there's a lockdown that's happened, but the one medium that people are connected to is Instagram, right? In fact, the lockdown actually gave rise to the engagement on Instagram. People actually started, the small businesses started Instagram accounts, right? Businesses started growing on Instagram. The home chef business right now in India is booming because a lot of people are cooking at home and selling their food products hygienically for people who are living in different cities and who can't afford food, right? Now, the medium comes into play because that becomes a place to talk to potential consumers. Do they convert or not is the result of what you're saying, is the result of how you're saying it, right? And is a result of what you're showcasing, right? And we'll come to understanding how you're going to create that mix of content, right? Before that, when we take a step back, right? Why is it imperative for us to understand that we're living in a brave new world? Because there are new needs that the consumer needs, right? They're asking for newer things. They're asking for safety. They're asking brands for transparency. They're asking for people to understand how important safety is, how important it is for them to understand what is the process in which things are coming to them, the new kind of products they need, or something that they need in their house that will help ease their anxieties, right? We go back to the three trends that are happening: the kindness, the gratitude, the mental health awareness, right? Every brand now takes that stance or does something in that zone, right? That is your larger umbrella, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Hence, it is important for us to stay relevant. You understand the kind of trends that are going on. You create content basis whatever it is that people are feeling, and you're home. And you can still sell product, right? Without being salesy. You understand their mindset and you ease their mindset, right? It's as simple as saying, don't worry, your sanitization needs are taken care of. Don't worry, your products is delayed, but it is going to get to you, right? Don't worry, if you haven't got your product, let me give a refund to you immediately if you're not comfortable, right? Things like that. It has humanized us to that level. So what the medium has already done is humanized us, right? I see a few comments. I'm really going to come back to this after the first hour. So you keep sending in those questions and I will reply to them, right? And we probably get some of you to ask us these questions verbally also. It might just be fun, right? So understand the time we're living in. Basis that, push your product to sell, right? What we will also understand in the few slides when we go ahead is the fact that, engagement is high, but engagement is high and it's building a top of mind. That top of mind only takes you to a level of consideration. And then you have to tip this iceberg, the person to actually convert, right? And that becomes more imperative for content to do, right? So what is the kind of content you're actually going to follow? How do you kind of break this down, right? Something that I already said, that yes, people are demanding products, right? By actually understanding the personality of the product. What defines you? Does thrill define you? Does safety define you? Does taking care of your people define you, right? Does being sensitive define you? Does being adventurous define you, right? Everything you say comes from a tone. Words matter because people are reading. And you'll be surprised, this is one medium where long copy is actually okay. People are reading about people's stories. People are reading about people's struggles, right? Very recently, I launched a campaign with a friend of mine for domestic abuse, right? And when we put the campaign out there, we were actually surprised at the number of people that actually spoke about it. Social Samosa had actually shared this last month, right? Our only aim was to put it out there so that people actually started sharing it and they knew who to call, because people are living at homes, don't know if they have access to Google or their phones, or if someone's monitoring them. If they have to get out, how do they get out, right? If people are living close by, is there a way to activate them and make them the charge bearers to get you the right help in real time, right? Now, That is what is happening today, but someone had to speak about it, right? So when we say that people are buying products by believing in a company's personality, it's what you do, right? What you do every day and how you're doing for them, right? Okay, you're building a product. Okay, you're delivering a product. You may providing a service. How are you doing it? What are your people going through? People want to hear it, right? This medium is letting you do that. This medium is letting you tell those stories, and people want to hear it because they want more. The other thing that plays to your advantage with Instagram, right? A, it's real time. B, it's discoverable, which means even if you put a long story out there, somebody is going to see it. Yeah, 2 out of 10 people have to keep in mind they're going to see it with or without media spends. Should you do media spends? Of course, yes, and we'll come to that in the further sessions that we do. But you put your opinion. Like I said, there's no right or wrong, right? So if you're going through something, or if there is a special step that your employees are taking to provide a service as simple as fixing somebody's internet for that matter, or making sure somebody's medicines are getting to somebody in less than 24 hours, right? And when you pick up content like that, you put it out there, we rest assured that people are going to pick up this stuff and start sharing it. And that's what we need to aim at, right? Getting people to talk about it. So you build your personality first, like a human being, like you would do for yourself, and then put it out as a brand, right? Because at the end of it, brands are people. That's what I've always believed for the last 12 years, right? And I still believe it. So if you keep catering to that and you come from a place of feelings and emotion, somebody is going to hear you, somebody is going to share you, and you will at the end develop a personality, which is not an immediate game, right? But it will happen over a period of time. Now, of course, there are certain tools that Instagram provides to us, right? How do you kind of use them best? You have the ability to use words, right? Lingo is very, very important. What you write, people are reading and then they are reacting to it, right? B, visual. Your images, larger than life images, black and white images. You use different filters on your images to create a certain mood. Very, very important. Videos, right? Something that plays to your advantage is, apart from the TV and the Netflix and the Amazon, this is the medium that people are actually scrolling through at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. How do I capture or grasp that interest? Very important, right? Stories, one of the most engaging mediums, and with the engagement rates already up, stories is one place you should definitely use tools, right? For example, the most recent thing that went crazy is a poll, right? There was a challenge that, okay, I see another question. I will reply to that as well, right? There was a challenge that went viral where you had to find out what the real poll was, right? There is a way in which you select a poll and you put in your stories. And what designers did was actually put JPEGs of the same poll around. You actually had to find the actual gimmick that belonged to Instagram, right? Went crazy. It's nothing. It's just a game, but you're giving people to do something more than just look at content or hear a story or hear an opinion, right? So you gamify the experience. There's a little more to do, right? And then there's the reels, of course, which is the 6-second videos, the fun, the most entertaining. People are expecting something different to happen in this because they want more. They want more. They want something different, right? All of these tools combined, this is a Hulk smash, right? And I will keep using these terminologies. I think it's pretty cool and also fun, right? That's what Reels helps you to do. So if you use all of these, you're home, right? You have to do a mix, and you have to be careful that you use a mix of all of these, right? If you do only one, it'll become boring, right? If you're only putting text posts, like, yeah, okay, whatever. I saw this yesterday. I don't think I want to read another one today. Maybe I want to see something visual. Maybe I want to see an employee talk about his day, right? Now I want to see how my product is actually packaged, right? I now want to see what people are actually doing in the reels. Can I make something funny? Can I get my employees to dance? Can I get my CEO to dance? That also makes a story, that also shows so much about how brands have actually humanized, how employees are actually happy, how senior management is actually participating in employee lives, and how that kind of helps empower them to do more, right? So That is what we have to consider, right? Now, one of the questions that everybody asks is this a good idea or is this a bad idea, right? When we judge ideas, I think one of the gravest mistakes we do is this good or bad? Well, there's no good or bad, right? There is, you either believe in it or you don't believe in it, right? And there are different ways of doing things. You want to put an opinion out there, you can do it in 10 different ways, right? So I think the question to ask is, A, is the narrative correct, right? B, am I landing what I want to say right, right? C, is it visually saying it? Now, you know that if 90% of your brain only reacts to visuals, you want a visual out there, right? Of course, you have to break that monotony with text. Definitely consider that. But if you know that that is how you're going to attract or grasp the consumer, if you answer these three questions and your content has it, then you're home, then you're using the medium for the right thing to do, right? Now, you want to include hashtags, that will happen. You want to run a hashtag campaign, that will happen, right? You want to see the people who are reacting to you, yes, that will also happen. That's a game after. But when you are considering an idea, when you're considering a thought, it's not about is this good or this is not good. No, it has to land or advocate for what it is that you believe in. And as long as it does that, put it out there, right? Yes, there is going to be a question of investment and ROI. If I invest so much, am I going to get a certain reach? If I invest so much, am I going to get a certain conversion? Yes, these are the right questions to ask. But don't judge it as good idea or bad idea, right? Even bad ideas make memes, even bad ideas make viral content, right? People who fall make content. People who get hurt make content. People who've had a bad life becomes content, right? People who are going through struggles is content. Anything can become content. So there's no good or bad. There's only different ways of doing things, right? This is just me trying to give a new perspective to the way we see things, right? In the last 12 years, I've seen a lot of missed opportunities of ideas that haven't come alive, but then they come alive in the way of different brands trying to tell stories, right? So if there is a good thought on the table, maybe find a better way of doing it versus saying this is not good enough or this may not work for me, right? The largest question to answer is, does this fit what I want to advocate? If it does, then you have a great idea. It's just all about executing it, right? The game is inconsistency. You have to keep talking. You have to keep saying things. Attention spans are lower than that of a goldfish, 3 seconds or less, right? Today you grasp their attention, 15 days later they've forgotten you. But if you hit the nail again and again and again and again, at some point it's going to get into the wall, right? So keep executing, keep thinking, right? And there's no good or bad. There's just different ways of doing things, right? Now the 4 C's, right? Something that I have learned, very, very important. A, you curate content. Now, while you're going to create content, it's also important to curate content, right? The trends you pick up, the moments you pick up, you collaborate with people. Like Prerna, she collaborates with brands. Very, very important. It's curating content, right? Building community. Every brand would build their communities. You will have loyalists, right? You will have a certain set of people who follow you, right? You will speak what they want to hear from you, right? While you, of course, create content for larger trends, you, of course, create content to disrupt the environment and get new followers, there will always be something you keep doing for your community because you have to grow them, you have to nurture them. It's like your baby, right? Conversations, never stop having that, you know. Sometimes we forget in promoting our brands that we're promoting our brands day in and day out, but we've forgotten to speak to them. They're writing to us, they're commenting to us, reply to them, right? Maybe spend 15 minutes a day to just reply to them. Let them know the brand hears you, right? If they've DM'd you, yes, like their comments. They like it if their brand is hearing them. They might just end up buying something tomorrow because they know, oh yes, the brand has heard me. There is something that I put out there and they actually took the time out to like or just reply to me or understand my sentiment. It's not about being defensive and telling them, no, I don't agree with you. It's about, okay, great, that's relevant to you, but this is where we're coming from, right? And then the consumer, and why I put the consumer up there is because they have more power than ever before, right? They have their opinions, they have the power of decision making, right? At any given point in time, if we think that the consumers is going to not consider buying another alternative product, of course they're going to consider, right? And that is where everything else matters. The conversation with them matters, right? The community that we're creating matters. The voice that we're holding for so many years matters, right? All of that, right? In the lockdown, I started a small business myself, right? I love cooking since I was a baby. But I really never did anything about it. And I started Home Chef Pardi. And one of the things I learned, the more you talk to them, the more you give them the power of choice, they're going to say yes, right? And all of the content that I do always ends with, what do you like? What do you want me to do, right? Let's make a menu that you actually want me to do this Diwali or Christmas, right? It's very, very important to consider, or at least tell them that you are considering whatever it is that they are thinking, and then put your products out there, or then put an opinion out there, or then resonate with their voice with whatever content that we're putting out there, right? And we'll go through some examples together, right? But just a couple of few things before we kind of actually get there, right? Why is it that people actually come to Instagram? Because they think that it's breaking the clutter of all the content they're watching. You may watch the Netflixes of the world, you may watch the Amazon Primes of the world, you may be watching TV, and the news these days is not inspiring. There is a lot of, for the lack of a better word, shit going out there. How do you inspire them? How do you break that clutter? How do you give them a fresher voice, right? So, few stats that you can remember, always hold them with you till they change, but it's very imperative for you to know. If 60% of the people that exist on Instagram say they discover new products on Instagram, that's a place for a brand to be. You should be there. You should say something every day, because someone new is going to discover you for sure, right? And they may not even fall in the TG you've set. That's the miracle part of it, right? But at least people are listening and your community is growing. So while you get your conversion, which is the second fold result of what your content does for you, you always keep pushing them down. You still have to keep building your newer funnel, right? People have to still come and like you. People have to still come and share you. So experiment. It's not bad. Yeah. If you have a thought, you put it out there, do it differently. There are 200 million plus Instagrammers, right, who are visiting business profiles at least once daily, right? And if you are their profile, then ensure that you grasp, capture, excite them. You can do it in your bios. You can do it in the latest 3 images. You can do a grid hack. Give them something that just takes away normal, that takes them away for that 1 second, or give an opinion or resonate with that audience and say, this is what we can do with you, right? Now, 80% increase in the time spent of watching videos on Instagram is a huge, huge jump. And yes, especially in the lockdown, because phones are easy to access, phones are always on you. Gone are the days when we actually read Archie's comics while we're sitting on the pot, or while you're just sitting with a cup of tea at a window, right? That's not happening. People are actually just opening their phones. Okay, now what do? I don't know what I want to do, because work pressure is so much, and everybody is going through mental fatigue, or there is war room fatigue that is currently going on because of the hours everybody's putting in. We're actually just scrolling through Instagram, right? So what do I want to say today? Where does my brand stand? How do I make this person's day better, right? I'm going to sell my product, yes. But at the same time, I need to resonate with what people are actually going through, right? I need to actually tell them that apart from just selling my product, I also do this, right? That is where I have to step in. Now, 1/3 of most viewed stories are from businesses, which is also great, right? That means that people are not only going through meme accounts, or people are not only going through Bollywood or Hollywood actor accounts. People are actually going through business profiles to see what innovation actually exists there, right? One of the things, if you look at it scientifically, right, or from a point of view of just simple psychology, we're living in a time where excitement is limited, right? And one of the ways in which excitement or something different actually comes by in a person's life is when they want to invest in a new product, or when they want to invest in a new service, or when they want to add a certain value to their life, right? So you're living in a lockdown, you're living in a pandemic situation. even if you're stepping out, you're limited to doing things and people are looking for newer experiences. How do you do that with content? Okay. Or how do you do that at the end with your product is a journey that you have to define on Instagram. And this is the best place because your discovery is still high, right? So this is the medium you want to be on, right? Now, before I jump into how your content is defined, which is the pitch, play, plunge method, right? What basically we're going to try and land on or understand is that you can put content every day, which is great, right? What do your content pieces actually bucket under, right? You have to do multi pieces of content, okay? One of the things that we also often hear is keep it short, keep it short, keep it short, keep it short, which is great, right? You can keep content short every day because every day matters, right? But one of the other things that we also always have to consider is once in a while, right? We can say larger stories. And if we say larger stories, it's not like your engagement rates will drop or the video will not do well, right? You will see a lot of briefings where people actually say a video should be shorter than 15 seconds. It doesn't necessarily mean all your videos have to be 15 seconds or short, right? View through rates are important, but view through rates are not important during every campaign. As long as your driving factor is driven. For example, do I want to create top of mind awareness? Then I create a larger reach. Do I want to sell my product? Then I have to ensure that the person is going to my website. But I do have to land my product, right? I do have to tell that story. And sometimes you may not be able to do it in 15 seconds, right? So I will show you 2-3 examples. And one example that I'm going to play for you is a video that the Dollar Shave Club did, okay, which was titled "Our Blades Are Fucking Great." And this video is actually more than 1 minute long and it did really, really well, okay? Now, this is a 2012 video. I will also show you another long format video that happened in 2019, right? Are we saying that we should do long format videos always? No, okay? The point of taking you through these examples is to explain that you have to do multifaceted assets, right? If you put text out there, put visuals too. If you put visuals, do short format. If you do short format, do long format, right? You want immediate attention, you stick to short. But you want to land your product and tell your story, why not too long, right? People are listening to you. So you can use a 15-second asset to tell people something. Start by telling people something, tease them, and then take them to your longer story. You will still get your engagement, right? So you just have to learn to plan it better, right? In the form of a story, as simple as reading Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty. And trust me, right, that storytelling is still relevant, right? So I'm just going to play this example for you, which did really, really well and which resulted in $1 billion revenue in sale. This is more than a 1 minute video, guys, right? And this was 8-9 years ago, right? So I'm just going to play this for you. I'm going to shut my face right now so that doesn't glitch while playing.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle it's toddler. Do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. Do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. Stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
No Vanderbilt. This train takes hay. Stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We're DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
So great, right? So fresh. I mean, it is still relevant today. It still makes me smile by the time he comes to the end of it. And the fact that he lands, that the blades are actually great, you know. It's not only about the idea, sometimes it's also about the tone you use. Sometimes it's just about provocating the audience a little bit, right? It's about if you know how they are thinking, right? And if you know that you're kind of going to land the product either ways, you're going to hit a nerve. That is what you need to know. And you're going to only know that if you know the kind of content people are consuming, right? We go back to the fact that who are you? Are you the adventurous, or are you the person who likes thrill? Or what is it that people are actually seeing today? Is it that they're watching Spartacus and they like a lot of blood and killing? Is it that is it the season of Gossip Girl? Is it just the season of love, which is Christmas? Your tone, your words, the images you use, very, very important, right? That video kept you hooked right to the end. And I'm guessing it kept more than half of you hooked because you all wanted to see what actually happens in the end, right? Sometimes it's just about maintaining that curiosity throughout. And in the first 6 seconds, it provokes you, right? So it's going to hold you. And as long as it's holding your interest, that's important, right? That is what it did. So don't hate the long format, right? I'm one person who has the least patience. Speaking fast must already tell you that. But it's about how you say and what you say, right? So if as long as you believe what it is that you're saying is going to land what you believe in, B, it speaks the same voice as that of your people, embrace it because people are going to watch it. And at the end of it, it might not even about buying the product, right? All the video did was just intrigue you. It didn't tell you go buy at any point in time. But what it did was it actually hit a nerve and it drove so much intrigue that people actually went and searched for it, right? Now, let's look at something else that happened in 2019 that Pizza Hut did, right? It actually helped them elevate their brand. One of the problems was that people were not liking the customer service, right? Now, the easiest thing to do when there is an outrage on customer service, and Twitter just allows people to boom at it, right? Now, Instagram does it and Facebook also does it. So it's all in the DMs, it's all in the comments. So people are saying, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this. And sometimes it's not even about having an actual complaint. It's just, they're just dissatisfied because they don't feel 100%. How do you change that perception? Can also happen through content, right? And this is what Pizza Hut did. This video also is long, but at the end of it, people loved it so much that the pizza sales just increased after feeling this ad, right? People actually felt this ad. So I'm going to play this for you.
Hello, Internet. At Pizza Hut, we get asked, do you deliver? Yeah, we deliver. Restaurant quality pizza, piping hot to your. Now, we're not ones to knock the competition. This pizza you said tastes best. According to this independent taste test, ours. But we don't need to tell you that because you just told us that. Thank you, great. At Pizza Hut, we go big on bagels, which is why we have a reward scheme. Some places don't. But with us, you can earn delicious free pizza by eating delicious pizza. And I don't know what heaven's like, but I bet it's a lot like that. No, generosity doesn't end there. Because unlike the other guys, we also do this. Our 5-pound favorites. All these favorites for just 5 pounds. Do you solemnly swear to deliver piping hot pizzas in 30 minutes? And if you're just 10 minutes late, to give people 10 pounds off their next order? We do, Your Honor. It's called our speed guarantee. And do they have a lot for that? No, they don't. So, Internet, in answer to the question, do we deliver? You can say that. Restaurant quality pizzas delivered. Amazing deals and rewards delivered. Speed guarantee delivered. Cheesy bites delivered. Smiles on faces delivered. Yep, we're Pizza Hut delivered. Now that's delivery.
This one also brings a smile to my face, right? So imagine the questions when this video was actually thought about, right? People not happy with the delivery because they think that the brand is not taking delivery seriously, right? People are looking for special deals, which was answered in the video, right? Deliveries being taken up on priority. They also put in the cheesy bites there, which means that is what people were buying most at that point in time, right? Now, again, this is long, right? But there were 2-3 things. There was a tone, there was a narrative. And at that point in time, the trend of one person acting as 5 different personalities was going on, which this video really, really nicely picked up, right? Little cues can make a difference, and it still holds you right to the end, right? And of course, it's Pizza Hut. The attention grasping happens right when his table falls, right? And it's like, oh my God, what is happening now? I want to see this whole thing. Like, I want to see what happens more. Is there a building that's going to fall? Well, that's too much of an expectation, but that's how I went, right? So if you can do it in the first 4 or 5 seconds, and you are home, because then you can tell your story, because then you just glued that person and he's going to see it. It's the same theory of that of comics, right? When you start reading a comic book or when you start reading a storybook, right? When you read the first 4 or 5 pages, if you're not glued, then you might just put it down or you might pick it up later, right? But if the plot starts thickening right there and then it becomes imperative for you to find out what is happening more, right? Is someone raising a hand? Someone just told me. Did you need something, Karthik? Do you want to put a question down in the box that I can help you with? Or I'm please to put a question answer in the Q&A box or the chat, no problem. Okay, now another example, and this is a little older than the Pizza Hut one. Pizza Hut one was last year, right? There is one more that an energy drink did, right? Prudy's, right? It's actually featuring Idris Elba, right? And he's one of my favorites. He just has a life, and he's so inspiring, right? This video actually garnered 45 million views, and this idea was not even an idea, right? This is a format of a video that it followed, right? And it kind of, again, grasps your attention right in the start. It is a 2-minute 37 long video, but I'm going to play it for you so that we can talk through it, right? We're all here. The whole point is to just take as many learnings or perspectives as possible and then do what we can do best for our brand. So I'm going to play this. Just enjoy the video, and then I will tell you where you've seen this narrative in other brands as well, right?
hasn't so it's never gonna happen. It kind of needs a little bit of ambition and then you just kind of ride along.
What think you got enough time to dream?
Unfortunately, life does get in the way of your dreams, I guess.
If you really had the opportunity, would you take the chance? If I said to you, I'd like to help you get your qualifications as a coach, set you up with the kits, you lick the part, and take you down to QPR, the women's team as a coach, and he's agreed that you can be his assistant for the day. So you go, I cannot see this story. Love that. Here's your
Thank you so much. Thank you.
kids who play, big dream, but as an adult, we kind of like slow down very quickly. Myself and Hurdies, we think that people shouldn't stop growing, should always challenge themselves. And at this stage in life, people shouldn't stop dreaming, they should thrive on.
So this video is a little sentimental kinds, right? You may have seen the same narrative in a lot of videos. I think a year ago there was this trend about, I think it was Whisper that did what they think about women, right? Then there is Dove, where they do the beauty sketches for what people think about if they're beautiful or they're not, how they see their friends, and then the beautiful sketches actually come out. So it's the narrative, right? And it's the honest narrative of actually bringing the reality of people outside, which kind of resonates with what that age or that particular audience is actually feeling, and then making a content piece out of it, right? It's sweet, it's short format, yeah. It's just about getting that attention and making you feel more empowered, right? Correct. Nike and Airtel does that too. Experiences are very, very important, right? It's again another way of humanizing brands. It's bringing the real out. It's not about, hey, this is my product, so you have to buy it. Hey, this is how my product makes you feel. No, it's not as simple as that. It's about telling you, this is what I stand for as a product. And my job, the value that I add when you consume me, is that I understand the kind of empowerment or the value that you need. So hence, if you're holding a bottle of my product or you are eating my product, at the end of it, you feel empowered. You're going to be more confident. And it's just psychosomatic. It's like one person's yawns and the other one wants to yawn because there is a strong urge. And that is the kind of effect that this content actually brings, right? We think that content doesn't have a science, but it's actually just playing on simple psychology theories that either Freud put or some other psychologian has put in the past, right? If you take 10 minutes in a day and go through 10 ad pieces today, and you will realize that it is playing on something in terms of gratification, and that's how it kind of actually gets you hooked, right? Now, what I want to leave you with the long format, when you actually consider ad making, right? Now, yes, of course, there is a very, very unholy alliance of everybody saying short format, do short format, don't do long, right? But when you're considering do a 50-50 mix versus doing an 80-20 mix, right? Where 80% of your content is short and 20% is long, right? Try and do a 50-50. Keep 50% of your ideas where you're actually telling people in very, very short formats of who you are and what you do, but ensure that there is that other 50%, and I'm not saying every month, just take the whole year, right? Maybe 4 pieces a year, but tell people who you really are, the difference you're driving in people's lives, right? What it is that you're actually changing, right? What is a person actually changing or has grown to because of a result of consuming your product, right? That might elevate the sentiment of the brand in the person's mind, right? What happens is that your content automatically becomes a hub of being shareable, because that person trusts you, right? And is going to share your pieces because suddenly he resonates with your opinions, right? It's very, very important. So keep that in mind. Now that 80-20 is not going to become 50-50, ROI is important to all of us, I know, but maybe we will keep this at the back of our heads and talk about more real stories going forward, right? It'll be great to see more case studies out there. So I'm sure some of you will actually take the time and think about it. Now, we've actually spent a lot of time just getting here. I didn't realize it was 5:10. I hope it's okay that we go over like by 10-15 minutes. What we're going to talk about next, right, is the fact that there is a pitch, play, plunge narrative that Facebook and Instagram actually tell us to follow. What does that mean, right? Now, it is a framework that helps brands build bigger ideas for these platforms, okay? And in an effective manner. What does it mean? What does pitch actually mean? What does play actually mean? What does plunge actually mean? Do we actually have to follow all three? Do we actually have to put the same amount of importance to all three? The answer to that is no, right? There's never a perfect mix. There's never a perfect science, but this is a guiding example of what we should do, right? So very simply, pitch is basically introducing your product, yeah, highlighting your product and demonstrating what it does. It could be as simple as cheese, okay? There is creamy cheese that's coming, right? It's about highlighting the fact that it's organically made. There is no adulteration in the milk that is used to make it, right? And demonstrating it would be putting it on pizzas, putting it on toasts, putting it in a chocolate sandwich that I just heard friend tell me about, putting cheese in a chocolate sandwich, which I didn't know really tasted well until 2 days ago, right? It's as simple as that, right? That's the pitch aspect of it, right? Now, with 1 billion stories that are being created across Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, right? There is no shortage of idea generation, okay? That's our problem is not that. Our problem is just using the right narratives, right? So we can all have ideas, right? But when you separate the larger idea from the brand speak is very, very important, and that's where pitch, play, plunge comes. Pitch is just telling people what your brand is, right? Here you don't have to think about saying your story. This is that static, this is that 3-second or 4-second asset that you put out that just says why you use your product, right? Where is it coming from? What are those 4-5 USPs that actually stand out, right? This is how you build your community. This is how you interact with people on product speak and not experience speak. The 3 videos you saw was more to create an experience. What we're doing now is just focusing on the fact that we have to put product speak up. And that's the first step. You have to tell people what your product is before you start building that live, right? Second is when you jump to, 1 second. Oh, my slide is, okay. Okay, little glitch, but it's all okay. Okay. Second is playing with the idea, right? Now you've introduced your product, you've spoken about your product, right? You've told people where to use it, how it can be used, right? Now you play with your idea, right? You gamify it, you socialize with your people, you ask questions, you create a user-generated contest, you create content around your own idea or your own product, right? And you start creating video assets about how it is fun to have this product in my life, or this product is adding a certain confidence in your life, right? This is the second part in the process, right? Can you jump to playing with your content? Of course, you can jump to playing with your content, right? Is it important to do pitching the idea first? Can you mix the pitch and play? Of course, you can mix the pitch and play. Visual, remember, audience likes visual, audience loves video. So do both together, right? But if you want to keep your product speak very, very different from the fun part of it, because A, you are a serious product or service, you can do that. Okay. Now, this is the second part of the process, right? You've given your original idea, right? Now you have to create a little more experience. You have to give them a little more interactivity, right? What are the aims and benefits of the product, right? We are informative, but at the end of it, I'm empowering you. Do you feel empowered, right? How would you, if a pitch idea is what is building top of mind, right? What does play do, right? Play is building a familiarity, play is building the affinity, and it's building association. At some point, people also build a familiarity with the devil, right? If you are exposed to something and you interact with something on a daily basis, or even over a period of time in a consistent manner, you're going to be familiar with it, right? This is what this content piece tries you to do. And once you drive the familiarity or associations, then it is just automatic that a context, even if not put out in the right manner, person's going to like it because they're so familiar with you, they believe in you, they trust you, that they want to play your games or they want to explore a piece of content that you're putting out there. And we'll go through examples, don't worry. We'll just talk about it right now and then we will go through examples, right? We'll finish pitch, play, plunge and then take a 5 minutes pee break, getting tea, hot break, right? I know I've stretched you all a little. I'm really sorry. The last and the third segment is this, is you plunge with the idea. This is where the idea deepens, right? You are their partner. This is where the influencers come in. This is where the personalization comes in. This is where you tell them that you can personalize gifts for them. This is where you tell them you can personalize products for them. This is where you give them immersive experiences with filters. This is where you tell them, you tell us how you're feeling and we will actually do something for you. It could be as simple as getting a dinner date with a special personality for them that kind of fits the brand, right? It's as simple as that. You don't have to follow my examples. I'm just trying to give you examples to clarify each of these three segments. Now, what pitch, play, plunge actually does, right? It helps drive recall, okay? Improves recall, and it has in the past, right? It has helped build better familiarity, right, by 1.8% across global content. And it has also helped build better affinity, right, across content that has been put out globally, right? It is important to build discovery. While content is discoverable more than ever before, especially on Instagram, because of the keywords, because of the hashtags you put out there, right? But you have to build for that discovery. And the way that you do it is by doing this mix. You pitch the idea, then you play with it, and then you build that experience, right? If I was to pitch ideas, fall in the service sector, mostly where what your product is very different from actually playing with the idea, right? The play part of it, you will find in more brands like a Lay's or a McDonald's or a Starbucks, right? Now, I'm only talking about starkly very, very different personalities so that you understand the difference in these three, right? And when we say deepen the idea, create a personalized experience for them, right? You will find it in a brand like Red Bull, right? So if you ask me, Parati, is there a perfect way of mixing these ideas and doing all these three together? Is there a perfect percentage that you have to put to this? No, there isn't, right? You have to do all three and you will have to pick and choose when you want to do it, right? So you are the best judge. You know your product, right? And if you're humanizing your brand, do I just want to talk about my product now? Or because of the time I'm living in, and if there is a need gap in my audience's mind, do I want to create a larger than life experience for them to go down the conversion funnel faster, right? Now, if I was to go back to the 4 C's for a little bit, okay, you're going back to the power of building community, right? You're building groups, you're creating experience, right? You know how to connect with one another, right? So if you are a fitness brand, you have to build a community, right? And if you're a fitness brand, you will do it more through experience and just telling people the product you have to offer, right? So you're going plunge first. Your pitch actually comes in the end because they have to buy in the experience of somebody actually losing weight or somebody's life actually improving, right? If you're a fashion brand, you want to inspire and empower, right? You want to ensure that people understand how imperative it is to dress better or get a specific kind of cloth, right? Then you want to do play first, or maybe you just want to play in the play and plunge zone, right? Now, if you are a brand that's launching a new product, right, then you maybe want to do the pitch first, right? Pitch doesn't only mean saying, oh, this is the product, this is how much I cost. No, you tease the audience, you tell them there is something larger than life coming, right? And you can create grid hacks, you can create UI hacks, you can actually launch or create that experience and build up to it, right? By telling them in the next 5 days, this is what is happening, and there is a countdown, and you already got them curious, and then you're going to actually create that plunge effect, right? So you have to identify when is it that your idea will actually shine, right? Now, will every idea hit the market in the right manner? Will every idea create that enthusiasm like it did on any other campaign? No, it may not, right? Now, again, there's no good or bad. There is you landing an opinion in the right manner, right? These are just tools to help you do it, right? So these are the three things, okay? Pitch, play, plunge. What it's simply, and in three simple sentences, if I was to leave you today, it is A, you're grabbing their attention right in the beginning, right? B, you're allowing people to interact with your content. And when you interact with content, you're interacting with the product, right? If you do a poll, if you're getting an opinion, if you're asking them to share something with you specifically, right? If you're asking people to tell you, do you prefer the chiffon cloth, or do you prefer cotton cloth, right? Do you prefer loose clothes, or do you prefer tight clothes, right? All of this, right? That is the second step. Third is the immersive, right? Where you're telling them to go deep in with your content, where you're telling them to experience it, where you're giving them the real stories, right? That is where the plunge comes to play. That was a very bad play of words, but yes, okay. So I want to show you pitch, play, plunge examples to clear this in your head. What I'm going to do is, it is 3:21, okay? Let's take till 3:26, 5 minutes. Everybody gets their teas, coffees, and comes back, and we'll start again. We'll go through the examples of pitch, play, plunge, and then we will go through the 5 things that are very, very important to do, right? Which is the text format, the story format, the video format, the reels, how to use them, what is the best way of using them, and when to activate them. Okay, 5 minutes. I'm putting a timer, and I'm going to start talking in 5 minutes. For those who are sitting at the screen, there's a quick poll going on. It's very interesting, very, very, very fun also. Please put your answers and give us a better idea of whatever exactly inspired you to do in the last half an hour. Okay, so there were two questions in the Q&A box, right? One was the fact that is there a way to be not, should you be moral for that matter? Is there a morality line to follow? If I was to answer that, yes, of course there is, but it completely depends on what you stand for, how you want your opinion to be, right? It'll keep changing over a period of time. If you want to resonate the larger audience, you keep following what the larger mass is saying, right? Is there a morality to advertising? Now, there is a way in which you can provoke the audience to do the right thing, right? Or there is a way in which you just want to create a narrative at the end of it to buy a product, right? But of course, you don't tip the edge in a way that the consumer is actually angry, right? So you just have to be careful. Completely depends, again, on what it is that you want to drive. What is the sentiment you want? You want a positive sentiment, you want a negative sentiment, how you want them to react, right? Okay. Is there any way to schedule posts on social media apart from apps like Hootsuite, something that Instagram offers? Hootsuite is the best. I use Hootsuite myself, right? Are there any more? Yes, of course there are. There is Unmetric, there is Percolate. These are actually paid tools. I actually am just very happy. Whatever it is that I just schedule it at the back end of Facebook, and then it just goes on both my mediums, right? I do that. But if you have too many, I'd suggest you continue using Hootsuite because it's actually really great. Okay, so someone's saying, I just joined. Can you provide an overall gist? Of course. Please suggest some engagement strategy. I'll have to spend some time understanding these education institutes. But the best way to create engagement is to tell them what you're offering. What is it that students are facing a struggle with? Help them in the areas that they're facing a struggle. It'll be okay. So if I was to tell you 3 kinds of content, right? Is this a strategy? No, I'm just giving you content examples of how you can drive engagement, right? One way would be ask them what it is that they are struggling with. Are they struggling with the fact that there are so many people at home and then they can't study or concentrate, and you can help them with concentration methods, right? You can also start a 10-day timer on your social profile saying exam season, these are the 5-6 things you need to follow, right? Is there a mantra that you can share with us, right? The more you kind of interact with them, that's your engagement, right? So these are the kind of things you can do to kind of drive engagement. The education sector is actually fun. You can even get some teachers to kind of come and solve doubts, take some common facts, give it to them, understand how times have changed now and how they can actually find quiet spaces, or how meditation can help them improve learning techniques for that matter. Where can they find the best tips and tricks, easiest way, right? How do you break down math? How do you break down science? That's also one way in which you can engage them. Is it advisable to post the recently added feed in story as well with the GIFs of a new post? Or is it advisable to have a different story on a different feed? You can do both. Both are engaging. Completely depends on what you're saying. Oops, my laptop just crashed, didn't it? Okay, how and from where can we get relevant hashtags for our posts? I would love for you to come to my next session, right? We are going to spend some time on, are there right hashtags? Are they wrong hashtags? What is the right way of finding the best hashtags in terms of creating a buzz? But I would give you a small tip today anyways. All you have to do is when you go to the search bar and you type your hashtags, right? If there is a specific zone or genre and you just type fashion there, you'll get the top 10 hashtags. You just type food there, you'll get the top 10 hashtags, right? So for the top 10, you can just go there and use the top 10, right? Second way is there are a lot of other tools and there are a lot of points to consider, which I will be doing in the coming webinars. So I will actually be telling you, take half an hour and explain to you how to kind of break down hashtags, because it's imperative to actually use 30. So if you stay on, that'd be great. How to generate new leads and drive conversions. Keep posting content. Driving conversion is a matter of, see, there is a twofold effect with the content that you post, that you create, right? A, if you're posting consistently, you are going to drive a new pool of people, right? So you're anyways driving leads. Now, in the case that you want to collect their data, always ensure there is a website or a third-party tool that is attached to your bio on Instagram, where you can actually get their names, you can get their email IDs, and then start bombarding them on maybe email or WhatsApp. WhatsApp has actually now started their India's, you can pay through WhatsApp too, right? So maybe you just want to consider using WhatsApp as a tool. B is the consistent game. You can keep driving conversions there, keep doing seasonal sales, yeah, keep them excited. Again, depends on the content mix you're using. There will be particular seasons when you want to convert them. There will be particular moments that you want to convert them. At that point in time, use your content mix. Either you want to pitch the idea or you want to play with it. And then if you're just creating a larger than life experience, do a plunge. If you know 3 months before that in 3 months there is a season time and I want to start converting them, then you start storytelling 3 months before, whatever it is that you are exactly trying to tell them, right? It could be just about your employees, or it could be just about telling them, sorry, 1 second. Yes, okay. It could be just about telling them there are seasonal sales coming up. Bookmark our post and keep, and we will give you an alarm at the right point in time. The bookmark tool is also really great, which I'll be talking about in the coming session. So all of these combined, you can keep driving your conversions, right? I'm looking to increase follower base for real estate. That one's tricky because real estate is really dry, but you can, in terms of content, I don't mean in terms of business, but you can make it fun, right? Real estate has so much content when you think of it, right? When a flat is being built, when a house is being built, how does it actually come into being? Yeah, the little things, the people behind it, the conversations behind it. There is so much turmoil of people actually coming together and putting it together, right? You could do little time lapses and actually tell people of the effort that is going behind and actually creating your brand, right? I don't really see a lot of real estate doing this. I normally see real estate put out a lot of posts with just this much is the flat for, this is how it will look and it'll be great for your family. But there is so much more you can put out there. I think you should just start from the first step to the last step. You should just start putting things out there, right? Even the location history, like, is there something specific about that? Is that my USP? You talk about it. You talk about the positivity around it. Talk about people and things living around there, right? How many hashtags do I recommend? 30. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more questions because the questions just seem to go from 1 to 100 and finish the session and then take the remaining later. Sorry. I'm looking to increase my follower base. I did that. I do photo editing, which can be the best way to have my editing images show and boost. And how can we show more engagement towards images? I'm not sure what you mean by engagement towards images. There will always be, see, the video format is more engaging, right? How do you edit your images better, or how do you ensure that your images look better? If you're looking for tools, you can use Snapseed and Lightroom. If you're looking to ensure that people are following you as part of a community and more followers come because you look beautiful, then you follow a certain look, right? That look could be in the form of a filter, that look could be in the form of a frame, that look could be in the form of a certain placement of an object, right? So you'll have to decide what it is that you're shooting, what it is that you're editing, and hence how your images are actually going to look, right? So that is very, very important, right? I hope I've answered your question. Now, in the case that you want to increase engagement, maybe you want to play with GIFs, because if you're doing images, maybe you just want to not use one frame of an image and use 4 or 5 images together. That might just help your engagement increase. Okay, all the questions that have come on the chat, okay, and I'm sorry, I'm going to make you do this. After the question, how many hashtags do you recommend as per post? If you can put them in the Q&A box, I will ensure I will not miss any question, right? The last question that I'm just going to do is the one about it requires real content from the construction site. Yes, best thing to do is put a GoPro up there every day, different section, and you will get all the content you need. If you don't have a GoPro, put a phone camera on the stand. I shoot in Amsterdam with my OnePlus 5, and the video output is actually really great. Trust your phones, guys. Your phones have really, really a lot of power. Okay, I'm going to go back to the session, right? Quickly, for someone who joined late, I'm not sure if that was Vedika, right? What we have covered, right, from the beginning is what and why Instagram is important, how the medium is the best place to be today, right? We also spoke about long format videos not being forgotten, right? It is still very, very relevant. We've also shown some examples, and the, Ranjan from the Institute will be sending the deck out to you all so you all can have it handy, go through these examples later. Long format also still works as long as the narrative is right, right? That is one thing. What we also spoke about is the right content mix, or what is the kind of narrative you should follow when you're actually posting content out there, which is the pitch, play, plunge model. Pitch is where you're actually just telling people about your product, where you're getting people's attention, right? Play is where you're actually allowing people to interact with your content, right? And plunge is where you're actually creating an AR experience for them, or you're giving them something more to experience, right? Red Bull would be the best place to explain that to you. And we're going to go through the pitch, play, plunge examples right now. So no problem. If you missed that, we are going to quickly go through it, right? Okay. So we did the pitch, play, plunge model, right? And my computer is pausing. How many times does tech give up on you in a day? Should do a poll on that. That'll be so great, right? Okay, I got your name right. Okay, yay. Okay, my Q&A box actually shut down. Okay. What I have put right now in front of you are pitch examples of what Lay's had done. Okay, they started this campaign of heart work, right? Where they wanted to tell people that everything you're doing is so important, right? They actually changed hard work to heart work because it's right from the heart. It is something brands are doing for people, and these are all their sister brands, right? Hence, they kind of made artwork that kind of thanked all their brands in a way that it got influencers to sit up and take attention. It got other brands to collaborate and have conversation with Lay's. So at the end of it, there was more than just posts out there, right? There were people talking amongst each other, right? How did that change to play, right? Play is when they asked people, right? If you think that there is someone who has done amazing artwork, why don't you make artwork on our packages and tell us? And that's where people actually started creating artworks for their packaging and started sharing, which is the centerfold, right? So they've pitched the idea, they've allowed people to play with it, and then they kind of created an experience by using these two influencers. 1 second, I'm going to play it. Okay, could you all hear that? Okay. Okay, 1 second.
अरे भाई ब्रेटली, मुझे लगता है तेरी किसी ने टांग खींची।
Oh, steady.
Don't get stuck in this.
मैं इंडिया में इतना पारा मेरी नाम इश आनंद थारा ली
अरे भाई ब्रेटली, मुझे लगता है तेरी किसी ने टांग खींची।
ओ तेरी
Don't get stuck in this झोल। ले इसका पैक खोल, 2 GB डाटा फ्री मिलेगा, सब पता चलेगा।
Okay, so this is one example, right? Now this is Royal Enfield, right? And they are launching a new product, and they're using the Instagram grid in the most amazing manner, right? These are teasers that they put out, but this is also pitching the idea, right? It's actually just teasing you as to something is coming, and it's keeping you on the hook, right? Remember, pitch, play, plunge is something to hold you on to tell you the larger story, right? So it's basically telling you, eat your starter first, okay? And then it's telling you, abhi starter kha liya, uske baad I will bring you main course, right? Now, I just want to show you the Royal Enfield page because it actually looks more beautiful on the page. Just one second. And here we go. You will now know how many tabs are actually open on my desktop, which is so amazing. And that's how many I usually work with, yes. So you see this grid? It's so beautifully done, right? This is a grid hack, but it's also teasing you with the new product that's coming, right? So it's telling you that a product is out there, and it's playing on the FOMO angle that you don't miss out, right? And this is actually the plunge video. I'm just going to play it for you here, which is actually finally creating the experience. So they've pitched the idea, and they didn't really need to play with you. They've jumped right into creating that experience. Right? So if you were to go just on the Royal Enfield page, you see that the thumbnails are teasing you right away, right? And you're very bound to go and click one of the videos and see the entire experience of how they're launching the product, right? This is a very simple example of pitch, play, plunge to explain to you how it kind of works, right? Now, I'd just like to show you 2 more pages, then we do the 4 important key things that we spoke about what is important when we're posting. It's the words, it's the language, it's the visuals, it's the stories and the reels. And then we're going to do a quick Q&A with Prerna to understand how influencers actually help create content, help build credibility for a brand faster, right? Yes, we have to keep posting. Yes, we put our content out there, but the next best thing to do is actually get influencers on board, use their credibility to kind of establish our brands, right? It also, of course, helps build your brand in terms of if you're not already established in a market, it creates a resonance for you already because they already come with the credibility and they build their own content and their expertise, right? What I'm going to quickly do is This is plunge content that Starbucks does, right? To create an experience, to show you who they are, to show you what they do, right? Due to the paucity of time, these examples will come to you in the deck. Go through them, right? Explore it. It's very, very important. When you want to create great content, you have to see the content that is out there. The more you consume, the more you'll know the trends, the more you'll know what people are talking about, right? They also do a lot of play content in terms of gift a Starbucks to someone. I'm not sure if you saw the recent challenge where Starbucks actually got people to dance with a bottle, right? That is one of the play content they did in the lockdown when the stores opened and where people had started collecting cups of coffee and going home, especially cold coffee, right? I love cold coffee. I don't know how many of you do, but they actually started going home and dancing with the bottles, and that became a thing, right? It's not like they thought of the idea. There was one guy who danced with a bottle, and then it just became a challenge, right?
I'm going to take up the Starbucks dance challenge. Let's do it.
Starbucks Dance Challenge.
Signature chocolate for Piyush. Hey guys, join the Starbucks.
So that's another great example of play content, right? Okay, now I'm just going to quickly go back to, so you know the pitch, play, plunge model, right? Is there a perfect way of doing it? No, there isn't. You know that long format is not dead. It is still very much alive. It is how you just want to position when you want to do short and when you want to do long, when you want to grasp the attention at the right time, right? Go back to the days you'd read a comic book or get hooked to this story. Go back to the days you'd actually get hooked on to a newspaper article, and it will directly converse your conversation or the questions that you're asking on the idea that you're looking to execute on Instagram. Always works, right? So we spoke about 5 things right in the beginning, right? One of them was words are very, very important, right? What I'm going to do today is give you a guidebook, right? In the coming sessions, we're going to focus on how to kind of improvise on each of this, right? What is the right way of doing things? What is the right way of picking on things, right? When you're writing copy, when you're doing the pitch and play aspect, right? Your words have to be less. Less is more, right? Consistency and lingo are key, right? The words you're using, either they are very matter of fact, either they're very conversational, right? Either they're very friendly, either you're using all the jargons like FOMO, TLDR, etc., right? Always have a CTA that is open so that people can respond to you, right? Very, very important to have an open question for your consumers, right? And don't overthink it. Be honest, let it be out of the heart. Copywriters are writing this, yes, which becomes more imperative. If you're a small business and you're writing it, all you have to do is read about the industry and read a lot of copy. If there are copywriters who you're getting to write it, the best way to kind of motivate them is to tell them what the industry is talking about and tell them how you want your tone to be different, and they will be able to write your story, right? You inspire them and the output will inspire you, correct? Second, your images, consistent visual language. What I mean by this is either the placement of your objects is same, either you follow the same look and feel, right? Play with the feed, okay? You have a 3x3 grid, play with your grid. You just saw the Royal Enfield grid. Oh, on that note, let me just show you the Taco Bell grid. It is beautiful. And one of the reasons why people just scroll through the Taco Bell content is because of the bold imagery that it uses. And trust me, you're going to feel hungry right now. So this is Taco Bell, right? Plays with a lot of bold colors, correct? You see the way in which the tacos are actually showcased. Very, very green, all of the veggies right up front, right? This is one visual I've put out. Then this is just typography, right? Doesn't mean that text doesn't work. At no point do we say that, right? Bold colors are right up there. The text is right in your face. It creates a 3D like effect, right? It's like you want to sit and have a cup of coffee with Taco Bell, kind of resonates that, and that's what it's exactly putting out there, right? So this is also content, right? Hence, visuals very, very important. Now, interaction is key, that we've said even in words, right? Sometimes when you're putting your visuals out there, also ensure that there is just one line up front, like who do you want to drink coffee with, right? Who do you want to move in to your next dream house in? Who do you want to spend your next dinner date with? Who do you want to eat your next lunch with, right? Things like that, right? Now, one of the questions that someone asked me about photo editing and how to kind of increase engagement even for images. Don't stop at one frame, right? You can still use the album methods and have more than one frame. Tell a story, right? Tell a story. Play with the tool that says swipe right, right? Say something in the first frame and then say find out more in the next frame. As long as you keep them, you have to keep them engaged for them to engage with you, right? So it's not about how to make your content engaging. It's about telling them a little more, just not in one frame, but dual ones, right? Next, when you're doing your videos, right? Apart from the long format and short format, which you're going to think, that's natural. So whether you do your pitch content, which can also be a 6-second video, or you do your plunge content, which is also 1-second video, don't forget about these. And we will spend more time on these, on how to create this. What is the best form of creation? What is the best time to decide when to create this in the coming sessions, right? Think thumb stoppers, right? Which means break the feed, break the grid, disrupt, say something that you're going to provoke the audience with, right? Think mute. Your video should make sense in mute, right? This is something when I was learning video editing a few years ago, the editor said, Bharati, watch the video in mute. If it makes sense to you, your edit is perfect, right? So it's just like old things are coming back. Think for mute, because if your video can tell a story in mute and someone is scrolling through the phone, you can actually grasp their attention even without having them to hear your voiceover, right? Think disruption. Break your feed in whatever manner you can. It can be a simple knock video, right? And the easiest way to do it is have the bottom frame completely white and the guy on the top actually coming out of the window and knocking on your screen. That makes it's an illusion, makes you feel like he's coming to your screen, but it's not, right? But you're creating that disruption, right? Think for smaller attention spans, right? We established that in the 3 long videos also. Whatever disruption that happened in the first 7 seconds, right? Either was a table falling or the old people saying, do I actually think about what I want to do when I'm older? Like, don't I look like I'm already old enough, right? The person is going to stop and think and watch what your content wants to say, right? So think for that. Then stories, right? More imaginative, more inspiring, more distinctive, more cool, more creative, right? It is one medium you can engage with, okay? Stories, like the name suggests, is so much fun. You can tell a story in 5 frames. You can create a scary story in 5 frames, right? You can play a tap game. Imagine your first frame starts a story and then you say tap twice to find out what the next step is going to be. Or you can give them 2 options. Tap once to find out whether you're going to go to a forest, or tap twice to find out if you're going to go and eat dinner with someone, right? That's how you're going to make it engaging. What we mean by distinctive and cool is please have a different visual language, right? And more creative is use the tools that Instagram is providing you, right? I'm just going to show you 2 stories also, because now I have to show you. So the best way to kind of explore stories is, I like Nokia stories. They're very simple. They put their products up for showcase. They have their tips there, right? And of course, it goes and rests in your highlights. We will speak about the highlights also later. You see how the story is changing, right? it's actually like a magazine that is just flowing, and it's nothing but playing on your tap, right? So there's a smooth transition. It is literally like you're looking at a catalog. And when you're looking at it on your phone, it's even more beautiful because it'll be without the black patches that you see on my desktop right now. So you'll actually feel like it's just moving like a video slowly, but in like a stop motion format, right? So this is how you can play with your stories, right? You should look at more stories like that of Starbucks, like that of Vero Moda, like that of Budweiser. Very, very cool, very, very distinct. Budweiser has a lot of collaborations with music festivals, right? So it becomes a little more fun, right? And then there's the reels, right? TikTok is gone, but the reels is in. Now, yes, there is chatter about whether reels will do well or not. Yes, there is chatter about, oh, TikTok is gone, so is reels really going to make a big difference or not, right? Now, what we need to know is Instagram a few years ago had launched something with regards to a format like reels, but it didn't work, right? The need gap of the audience right now is that reels is like TikTok, yes, but it is growing very, very fast, right? The filters are growing, the music library is going, the UI is so simple that you can edit. You don't have to sit on a different editor and then upload your video, right? You can do it in the reels, right? So what it is doing is A, it's creating entertainment. B, it's creating product usage. C, it's creating your brand personality, right? Little reels can come from, say for example, you have retail stores across India, right? You can get one employee to walk through the store, to showcase certain things, to showcase a happy employee with the best kind of music in the background. You can do it in the reels, right? Have some fun, right? And of course, you have to create the right look. So what we mean by the right look is ensure that there is the same kind of, or there is a recurring subject in all of your videos, because that creates a lot of difference, right? It's not just about putting music, putting whatever filters you have there. You have to create a certain kind of personality, right? Now, I'm just going to show you two brands that I love when it comes to reels also, right? What you have to remember is remember the kind of text you're using, you can play consistency on that. Remember the kind of music you're using, play consistency on that. Do a lot of lives, because that kind of attaches to the kind of reels you make, right? And don't worry about it being perfect or not, right? At the end of it, if it is landing what your brand wants to say, it is celebrating the people that are buying into your brand, it just does it, right? You don't have to do anything else. And it's easy to make. So the two main brands that are my favorite when it comes to reels, right, is Hotstar, because they're just killing it with the memes. Let me play something for you. That is IPL context. Right? Basically has an answer to every question a young millennial or a young man or woman who's just left their house and living their life. Resonates every opinion you have.
Hotstar specials are streaming now on Disney Plus Hotstar. Pehle Ganga mein.
This was a pitch reel. Falls into the context of pitch because it's actually telling you a show is coming up and you must watch that. Now, these reels are adventurous, right? So go through the Red Bull page later. It's consistency from a point of view of showcasing adventure, making sure thrill is in their blood. Doesn't mean that it has to have the same filter, it just has to have the same kind of content. Now, where do you see something like this happening? I'm sure a lot of you are seeing this for the first time, right? So again, all of these brands and examples will come to you in the deck. Don't worry. Right? Now, the game that you're playing, and I really, really believe that everything that we do in life is a game, okay? That doesn't mean that we're playing Chinese checkers or we're playing Ludo, but everything has a pattern, right? If you want to hack Instagram, then consistency is the game that you want to play, right? You have to ensure that you create every day, right? No idea is right or wrong, okay? Visuals compel. 90% of human being brain suddenly light up when you put a visual in front of them. Make sure your visuals are compelling. Even if it is an image, use bold colors. And if not bold, ensure that there's some element that is completely standing out, right? Break the UI, hack it. There are a lot of hacks, there are a lot of features that you can play with, and we will learn and talk about them in the coming sessions, right? And keep churning content. There is no good or bad. If you have an idea, put it out there, experiment, because sometimes you have to learn from what you're putting out there, right? There may not be a perfect case study that exists and says, this is the best kind of content you have to do. No, this is the right way to do things. That doesn't exist. You may be the first one who's kind of experimenting on things and then taking it live, right? So take a chance. If it lands your brand tonality and if it does what it needs to do, then you've got it right, right? Now, you have to remember that, does it mean that you have to create content for hours? No, it doesn't, right? It kind of stresses us when we think about the fact that, oh, it's Instagram. Oh, I had to create so many visuals. Oh my God, I had to spend so many hours doing this. No, we don't have to do this, right? So, one second. And again, my laptop is glitching, right? So when you're creating content, right, you have to figure out what actually works. And to do that, you have to keep posting consistently, because that is when you know what will actually work, right? Keep doing more of what your results say are better at engagement, are better at reach, are better at people reacting to you. At times they are reacting, right? 20 minutes are enough to think of a thought in your head and put it down. Don't overthink it, because the minute you overthink it, the idea is lost, right? Use moments, use trends, use topics that are in conversation, use challenges, use the hashtags, anything and everything that is out there, use that, because that means more content for you, right? And of course, don't stop the churn. You have to keep doing it, right? A quick everyday hack book for you, okay? If you are a brand or if you're creating small business for yourself, is you respond to DMs for 15 minutes, right? You create a post in 20 minutes, which means if you have a thought, don't overthink it more than 20 minutes, right? Engage with relevant posts with top hashtags. Smartest way of finding the top hashtag is put your genre into the search bar and you'll get the top 10 hashtags, right? And yes, of course, you have to respond to comments and posts. Remember, less is more in the way you talk, in the way you say. Don't try and bombard people with too many things, right? And fans will grow either ways, right? Now, what are you doing on Instagram? You are rewarding people's interest with content. Now, you can do that through your words, you can do that through images, video, stories, reels. It's nothing but gratification. Just like Freud said, oral gratification is important for people, right? At the end of it, your content is creating a special gratification and excitement for people today, because that is the only medium that is their escape. That is the only medium that they have for discovery. That is the only medium to satiate all their need gaps, right? But apart from this, how do you kind of reward their interests, right? You need influencers and partnerships, right? We cannot do everything with just media. Now, we all come from the mindset of, हाँ, मैं इतना post बनाएगा Usme, then I have to put so much money, then I will get so much reach. But then can I do something better to get more reach, right? That's the question that's always troubling us, right? That's where there is no perfect science, but there is always a perfect mix of things to do. So you do your pitch play, but when you come to the plunge aspect, while you can create filters, while you can create experiences, while you can create online catalogs, while you can break the grid, while you can break the UI, while you can create a larger than life experience within your stories or reels consistently day in and day out, right? There is something that is completely untapped and we're scared to tap into influencers and partnerships, right? So here is where I'm going to start asking Prerna some questions. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen in case she wants to show you some examples as well, right? Prerna, please tell me I didn't put you to sleep too.
No, absolutely not.
So, I mean, all of us here want to hear about how is it that you came to being an influencer, right? I mean, influencers are people at the end of it. They spend special time making their content in a specific niche. But a lot of us are so scared when it actually comes to tying up with influencers and think that there is a lot of money to put in, but we don't know what it is that we're going to get in return, right? So, how is it that you came to being an influencer? And how is it that you actually collaborate with brands, right? And how does it actually help brands? If you can just explain to everybody and me included, like 2 examples. And I see a lot of great content out there recently that you've done. Just take us through what it is that you've done.
Thank you for asking all those important questions, which I think everybody wants to know. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen so that people can watch what I have to talk about. Okay. Just 1 second. Can everyone see my screen? Is my screen visible? If I can someone just unmute themselves and let me know if my screen is visible?
Yeah, Prerna, your screen is visible.
Yeah, Prerna, your screen is visible.
Okay. So, fine. I'm just going to. So, okay. So initially, when I actually started social media, I had no clue that I'm going to become an influencer. My forte was being into jewelry, and at that point in time when I started, I was actually writing for the media and doing a lot of content in the space of jewelry styling. And that's when I realized that why not take this online? This was way back in 2015. And when that time I wrote for the media, they would tell me that, why don't you take stuff online and see? And whenever I would check on Google, there was absolutely no influencer in India doing something in the jewelry space. There were a lot of people doing luxury, there was fashion, and that's like, hey, that's the time I need to grab this opportunity. So immediately it was quite a challenge making that switch, but I made the switch and I thought, let me explore how this works. So I didn't know anything about Instagram. Actually, that's the first time I made my Instagram account. So I myself had to become, I had to learn what Instagram is all about, because for me, until then, it was all about, Facebook and stuff like that. So I had the first driver opportunity in the industry to become an influencer. And that was a big risk because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know how people are going to respond to it, but then I took the plunge. So that was that in a way worked in my favor as well, because there was nobody in that space at that point in time. So okay, so I'm going to as we speak about what are the two brand collaborations that I recently did and which were which were very helpful. That probably first, let me tell you what exactly an influencer does. So for an influencer, we have a lot of things. It's not just about clicking a picture and posting it online, but it does involve a lot of activities like planning a calendar. So the calendar involves festivals, occasions, and what events we are going to be having through the year, connecting with brands, planning shoots, decide what kind of location we are going to be shooting at, and even brand collaborations. What is the niche that I want to build? So because jewelry became my niche, I became the identity of my brand. And that is how I kept building that into the jewelry space. Although I had a lot of opportunities where I could have diversified into um, ensemble, into food, into travel, but I actually just stuck jewelry, which is my niche, and that really helped a lot. How would it help brands at that point in time, or how did it help them? I mean, when I started, I had no clue how it would help them because it was the first time even I was getting into something like that. But I was very confident about it because there was nobody in that space. Yes, that built a trend in the industry and people became trend followers. So I would want to always be a trendsetter than being a trend follower. And I think if you want to be on Instagram as an influencer, building your own trend is very, very important than actually just following what people do. So that always worked into my favor because that helped people understand what Instagram, what jewelry influencing was all about. I would like to take two case studies. In fact, this is let me just show you the first Instagram post. This was actually my first Instagram post that I ever did way back in 2015, where I put out all my essentials that I would use. In fact, when I was using a hand sanitizer at that time, I didn't know that it's going to become a necessity in 2020. Like it's become, our life is going to revolve just around that. So yeah, this was my first Instagram post way back in 2015, where I was at Grand Hyatt for my first event, and I posted about that. So the two recent collaborations that I'm going to talk about is one with Cartier, which is a famous brand that pretty much everybody knows about. So Francesca Cartier, she is the descendant of the Cartier family, and we had met at an event almost 3 years ago, where we after the event we kept in touch on Instagram. So that is how I could now 3 years later do an event for her in Jan 2020. So we were in touch on Instagram on and off, and she has written a book on the history of her family, which is called the Cartiers. And she wanted to launch that in India. And while she was doing her India tour, we got time only for a week to plan the entire event, and we put this up together. So within a week, we curated an entire a book event. With the launch of the book, we had people from the jewelry industry. So we actually had the chairman of the gems and jewelry industry attend as a guest of honor. We had Shobha Day, who's a columnist and novelist, also as a guest of honor, and almost, so when we talk about conversions, we had almost over 450 people attending a book signing event, which is very unusual. And obviously the name Cartiers itself was a driver. Apart from that, we sold over 400 copies of books at that point in time. And later, after the event, I had almost 100 200 inquiries, which gradually started converting when people approached me that they wanted a signed copy from her. So so apart from that, because Cartier's, the name itself is big, we had almost, the best of the media from India and internationally covering our event. And I'm just going to take you through a couple of pictures. So she's Francesca, who is from the Cartier family. We also did, before we did the book signing event, I did an entire shoot which had excerpts from her book along with some of the images from her family, which which was a teaser for everybody to understand what the Cartiers was all about. And this was like one of the mega events in the industry, because an influencer putting out an event like that altogether was unheard of in the gems and jewelry industry. So that is one of the case studies that I would speak about. The second one, again, like Paradhi spoke about being a disruptor. Second one was right now, recently, which I did on Navratri with Pradyuman, which is he's become a known name to people after attending, being one of the participants in the Netflix series of Indian matchmaking. So people, in fact, globally kind of recognize him, and he's become a brand in himself. So we collaborated for a series that we wanted to do for Navratri. He has a jewelry brand called Ornament, and that's how I collaborated with him, because we wanted to curate brand presence for his jewelry brand. And so what we decided to do is, what I told Pradyuman is, we didn't want to do the typical stereotype stuff what we do for Navaratri, although we wanted to keep the essence of the festival. So we played with colors, we played with emotions, and we made it a disruptor for both our pages. Like, this was the first time I was having a male influencer. So Pradyuman becomes an influencer in his own way, and I collaborated with a male influencer for the first time on my Instagram, and so was for him, because that became a disruptor in our own ways, as people have never seen us with somebody else on our pages, and it created a buzz in a way that people thought that either we are hitched. We had so many messages asking, are we engaged? Are we dating each other? Have we got married? And because he was a part of the Indian matchmaking series, people asked him that, oh, is she your girlfriend? And if you go to his page and you see, people are like, there was crazy amount of engagement and crazy amount of comments coming right from America to Europe to India to anywhere, like globally. So these are some of the videos. I'm just going to play this video and show you how we played with emotions. So we created 9 posts like these with different playing with different emotions and simple things like what couples do. So where Navratri is all about women empowerment and all about colors, we brought out the emotions playing with colors and emotions of what couples do together on Navratri. So it was, the story people could relate to us. Hey, this happens in my life too. So some of the views, if you can see here, the kind of views that were done and the kind of engagement we had was crazy after seeing a couple putting emotions out together. So put together, both of us, we generated millions of views together, and the first video itself, I think we had a couple of hundreds of followers on each other's page because people wanted to know who this person is and what is the series all about. So that is the power of Instagram, that the first video itself created a crazy amount of buzz and people were wanting to see what is going to come up in the next 9 days. So if you all get a chance, you all can just log into Instagram and look up the videos and you'll understand what we're talking about. The quick third case study that I'm going to take you through is the one that I'm doing currently. Is called Hamari Riyasat, where so I'm just going to show you this, where I have collaborated with the Indian Domestic Gems and Jewelry Council, and we are showcasing, we are doing a virtual tour of India talking about the different kinds of jewelry that is showcased within our country. So we're going to be traveling state-wise virtually and doing an interaction talking about that. So I know we have a time constraint right now, so I'm not going to jump into showing you the video because this is an Instagram live, which is almost 40 minutes. So whenever you guys get a chance, you can go into the Instagram and you all can check it out. What I would like to add here is that the beauty of doing such collaborations is that if I'm doing a collaboration with every jeweler in different state, I'm reaching out to the audience there. I'm reaching out to the audience of the jeweler within that state. So state-wise, it's actually giving me pan-India presence, and my page is reaching out, or the jeweler's page is reaching out to people across the country and globally. So coming back to Paradhi's question, you know, what is one thing that people, you know, should be, what people think they are not doing today on Instagram or they are missing out on? I think as much as print exists, digital and social media has become very, very important. And I have noticed that myself with first-hand experience. People think that, you know, Instagram is all about clicking pictures and posting, but there is a science behind it, and which is what we're going to be telling you in the next couple of sessions that we will be talking about. Good photography is very, very important. Good videography, even if it is from your phone, it has to be, you need to pay attention to smaller things. The way you shoot it, the kind of lighting, you know, there are a couple of other things that are involved in putting a video together. A lot of people, you know, don't understand how to use hashtags or what time they want to post. So I think in the next couple of sessions that we will do, we will take you through the entire journey of how these things can be put into place to creating engagement and creating great content. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and if there is any other question Paradhi would like to ask, or everybody would like to ask, we're going to unmute ourselves and take it through.
Thank you. That was so great. So I've answered most of the questions. Some people who are asking for inspiration, I've given you as much inspiration I could. All of those who started blogs in this lockdown, so great. Please keep writing. Keep posting images, keep posting visuals. It could be just short time lapses shot on your phone. It could be one image in a black and white filter. It could be just typography, just writing the first sentence of your story and asking people to go back and read, right? It's just great. Like, keep making content. You don't have to be a brand. If you're a person, you have a story to tell, tell it, okay? So a couple of things I want to leave you with, and I won't take more than like 5 minutes, right? Is that create unique content, right? You have your own story. Don't try and ape content. Don't try and pick other people's story unless you're collaborating with them, unless you have the same sentiment. Say what you want to say. The more honest and open you are about your own story in terms of how you came into being, it's the best thing, right? Share your feed posts and stories. So if you put a post up, and some people have asked me, are stories more engaging? Are reels more engaging? Yes, they are, because they are even shorter format. They're for people like me who have absolutely very little attention span, who are restless, who need to get up in less than a minute and walk around, right? So if you put up a new post, you would see a lot of posts. People put up their posts and say, hey, new post is up, do it. of course, doesn't harm, just increases your engagement. Share your blogs and articles. Yes. Share an excerpt of your article, share an image of your article, share one line of that experience, and then ask people to go back and read your blog, right? Your bio section should always be connected to a website. It will generate leads in any form, right? Share your new products. Excitement, celebration is very, very important. So share that and do that, right? Always speak on announcements, wins, whatever is happening, about your products, about anything that you've achieved. You've served 100 people, or you've served 1,000 people, or you're going to serve more people. If there is an aim that you want to achieve, you put it out there and you ask people to help you achieve that, right? Don't forget behind the scenes, this is what the grunge work, where people are actually putting night and day worth of effort, right? Very, very important. Show it. Like someone asked me about real estate, right? Please do shoot. Even at a construction site, there are a lot of people working. Yes, there are some things you don't want to show, but you can still show houses coming together. You can still show houses changing from just being cemented to being painted, right? So very, very important. Humanize everything. Brands are people and people are brands. And as long as I live, I preach this, right? They are very, very important. Keep humanizing. At the end of it, you're trying to sell a personality, you're trying to create a personality, you're trying to get people to buy in a defining personality, right? So treat it like a person, and we're going to learn about how to kind of move further in the next sessions, how you can humanize them, how you can create these personas, and we'll break it down together, right? I have answered all of your questions, including the chat and the Q&A section. If anybody is left, I'm going to linger around for 5 minutes more. The last thing that I want to show you, and I've been so excited, like I planned the whole presentation, but before I planned the presentation, I plan to show you this right at the end of it, okay? What not to do after today's session, okay? It's really, really important. Okay, here we go. Somebody asked me who I should follow for inspiration. Please follow Gary Vee too. Okay, he's one of the most positive entrepreneurs out there who loves Instagram, who now loves TikTok more, but we don't have an option but Instagram right now with the ban, right?
Phone, turn the fucking camera around, hit record, and say some positive shit and post it. Positive shit. Phone, turn the fucking camera around, hit record, and say some positive shit and post it. Positive shit. Turn the fucking camera around, hit record.
It's nothing but a pun, right? Everything you hear today, don't take it literally. But please go home, ponder about it, ask us more questions, come back to the next session. What we're going to do is learn content creation, right? We will learn how to generate ideas. We learn how to build blogs. So what we'll do is break whatever it is that we have to do on Instagram in terms of goals, right? We'll conduct competitive analysis, right? We learn how to make editorial calendars. We learn how to pick themes. We learn how to break hashtags down. We'll learn how to, whatever content pieces we put out on Instagram, how and what to do to ensure that the followers actually stay with us or they actually convert into people, right? How to break down visuals for videos, how to break down visuals for images. Yes, we will also go through how we will run ads on Instagram Live. So that will happen in the following sessions, right? 4 things I want to leave you with, right? Just 4 last things. After this, you can go. Promise. Don't rush the process, right? It's not about, I started posting, I don't have followers, I don't know what to do, right? Consider the captions that you put out there, right? Don't let them be too long. Don't share the same thing again and again. Say it differently, say it with a newer voice, right? Start reading blogs like Mashable, HubSpot. Please follow Social Samosa also. I'm sure you are already following. They post all of the relevant content pieces that are out there. They will inspire to kind of go back and then write everything you have to write, right? Focus on engage, engage, and engage. That's more important. Reach will happen, but as long as your content is interactive, it will do what it needs to do. And last is find your Instagram voice. So as long as you know your personality, you will be able to find your unique voice. You'll be able to create your unique personality and your home. So just don't stop gramming, right? It's okay to feel that you're not growing every day. Somebody said you love Gary. Oh my God, it's so amazing. I hope you laughed because I'm still laughing on the inside, right? So yeah, I mean, on that note, go make positive shit on Instagram, right? Please go keep doing that. Our handles are in the chat. The institute will send you the deck that you need. Further steps will also be sent to you in the case that you want to keep going on with us. Please do keep going on with us. There's someone who said something really sweet. Paridhi and Prerna, I missed a major chunk of the first hour thanks to this blasphemous power cut. Please, please, please share the recording for just today. I'm sure. Are we sharing the recording, Ranjan?
Yes, we will.
Yes, so it'll come to you. We will entertain you with the recording too. Okay, there are 2 more questions. Okay, they want the recording. So they're asking when will they get the recording?
Immediately. By
Okay. Okay, guys, I'm going to linger for 5 more minutes. If anyone wants to put questions, please feel free. I'm just going to put my video off. But have a lovely Saturday evening. Pour a glass of whatever you like. Could be water and tea. Bye-bye.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Thank you, Paridhi, and thank you, Prerna, for such an insightful session. I'm sure there is a lot for people to learn from this session and the sessions
Yes,
to come.
it does.
And so, guys, as Paridhi said, I mean, you'll get all the details from this session from ADMC. So you should check them out. Like, you should check your mailboxes for an email from ADMC. And at the same time, if you have any more questions, Prerna and Paridhi are around for another 5 minutes. We would also love to hear from you as to how the session was. So probably you can drop us a feedback to us at events@socialsamosa.com or even DM us on Instagram.
Yeah, feedback is great, guys. Please send feedback.
All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a great evening. Paridhi, you are there, right? For another.
I'm here for 5 minutes. If anyone has questions, I'll take it up. No problem.
Sure. All right.
Guys, I'm signing out now. So, Paradip, are you here? You're going to be signing out.
All right, guys, we are closing the call. In case you have any questions, you can write to events@socialsamosa.com. You can reach out to the ADMC team, like Paridhi and Prerna had mentioned, and at the same time, you can DM us on Instagram. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend and a very, very happy Diwali from Team Social Samosa. Yeah, Prithvi, that's correct. It's events@socialsamosa.com. You can also DM us on Instagram. We're quite active there. We are listening 24/7. All right. Have a great evening, guys.